Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this fantastic cyberpunk tower skyscraper in your world, and there is a full world download available in the Discord, including this build and the other cyberpunk builds that I've done in the series. So don't go anywhere and let's get on with the video. Here are the blocks that you'll need for the build, so pause the video here and check out what you need to collect. Now the first thing to do for the build is to set out the floor plan. Now this build is 18 blocks across by 20 blocks deep from the front, which is the bottom of the screen, to the top. So pause the video now so you know how this is laid out. It's worth knowing that there is also a large overhanging sign at the front which will extend by about another 8 or 9 blocks with that. So if you decide to build the sign, then obviously make sure you leave enough space for that to fit in as well. With the layout in place, then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build the main box of the build. Now this is again quite a large build, so it's quite high, and what we're going to do is on these bits which are grey concrete, so all the bits that I'm marking here, and not these front two portions, and also all of the white concrete, so the bit along the front here and again at the back on both sides, we're going to build all of these up to 29 blocks high. So that's 29 blocks from here right the way up, and that will give us the basic main structure that we're going to work from for the build. With those 4 sides in place, then as you can see, all up to 29 high, what we're going to do now is we're going to come to this front and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block we're going to set a line of sea lanterns coming all the way across. And then on top of this, we are going to be filling in right the way from the front to the edge of this, up to level with the sea lanterns like this, on the sides, and then going to be filling that in along the top as well. So we're going to have this little porch overhang right the way across and round, with these sea lanterns marking the top. Next thing to do, now that we've done this overhang, is to come to this side. And we're going to take the light grey concrete this time, and in this 3 wide gap in between here, and also the first 3 blocks, but not these 2 for now, we're going to bring both of these 2 sections up to 21 blocks high. So that's going to be 21 blocks as opposed to 29, so that's going to be 8 blocks lower. So we'll bring those up and then I'll show you the next step. With these 2 light grey pillars in place now, what we're going to do is we're going to come here to the edge of this grey. Now you'll probably start at the bottom and work your way up, but we're going to fill this entire column in here with an extra of the grey concrete, so this is going to come all the way up. And what we're then going to do with the light grey concrete is, for the top 2 blocks of this grey, we're going to carry it on so it overlaps here and overhangs the bottom here, and connect these up as well. And what we're then going to do is we're going to come out for 2 more blocks this direction, and then bring this in the 3 blocks here, so that once we've added that extra wrong block, there we go, once we've added that extra grey in place, that will then connect up, and then after we've done that, the final stage here will be at this very top block where they do connect. We're just going to come all the way over here like so to the edge here, not overlapping, but just like we've got at this other corner where the two just meet, and we'll fill this entire thing from this point up to the top of this build. With the grey concrete connected up, we're going to come to this section over here, and we're going to go down 5 blocks on top of these 2, so it'll be 7 in total. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just connect this up. And then we're also going to come up 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, and bring this up as well. Now on the side of the build, we are going to come up 5 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this 5th block, we're going to mark that out, and then we're going to on top of that, we're going to come up a further 5. So we've got 6 in total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we will bring this out in line with the one up top. So this will come round here and connect up. And so we fill this whole thing in with the light grey concrete. The final bit that we're going to do with this light grey concrete is we're going to come to this corner that is at present entirely open, and we're going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block we're going to place 2 blocks, and then we're going to go down a total of 5. So we've got 3 blocks, one more actually, there we go. So that'll then line up with this block here. And we'll have 1, 2, 3 with 1 block either side like this, and that is the base design. We're now going to start adding in some of the sea lanterns. Just coming inside this build now, the next thing that we are going to do is where we've got the bottom of this grey section, we can just take out this line of the white concrete there so it matches up, and that will lead us to this next step, which is outlining the top and the bottom of these gaps like this with sea lanterns. So we're going to build a ring of sea lanterns around each of these from the top and the bottom, and what we're going to do is we're literally just going to bring them round so they are level here like this. We're not going to fill in the sides quite yet because we need to fill in the tops and bottoms first. So we'll just bring these round all the way along like this, and the last few to do around here as well, like so. And we're just going to bring them level with these edges, and the reason that we're going to bring them level with the edges is we're then going to fill in the sea lanterns up the sides like this. So where we've left these sea lanterns in the floor, that is the marker of where they actually need to go, and just fill these in. Oh, I missed one. And having the sea lanterns there means that you've got something that you can fill in between. So whether you start at the top or the bottom, you can just connect these up like this. So yeah, fill in those sea lanterns in, and you'll have a ring of sea lanterns around each of these holes. Once you've done that, you'll have something that looks like this with the sea lanterns just going all the way round. Now, it's worth noting that what we won't do is fill in sea lanterns against this black piece of concrete here, grey rather, piece of concrete here. And even though I'd started putting them in, actually you don't need them against this white section here as well. Now, the next thing to do is, again, I'll just show you here, we're going to carry this on with blue terracotta. Now, if you don't have blue terracotta, you can use some blue concrete. It's a bit brighter, but entirely up to you. But the blue terracotta is a nice tone. And what you're going to do is literally just cover this whole thing with a line, and we'll knock the windows out afterwards. And we're going to do that all the way round. So you've got a line of sea lanterns going round the build. And in front of that, you've got another layer of the blue terracotta running in front of all of them. So that'll be where these are as well. And yeah, just do that in all of these sections. And again, I'll show you what that looks like once that's done. With the terracotta in place, you can see the sea lanterns sticking out the side, which gives a lovely lighting effect. And what we're going to do now is we're going to come inside and we're going to start putting the windows in this back wall. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come across and we're going to come in 1 block and 1 block up. And we're going to knock this right the way through till we get to this edge. And then we're going to come up another block and do exactly the same. So we've got a block, window, and do that. And we bring that right the way across as well. The next thing we're going to do is leave 2 gaps this time. And then we're going to come up and knock this across. Now, just pop that back in. When you get to this edge, you're also going to bring it right the way across here. So it would be, if this was a block here, for this cutaway, we're going to continue this right the way round. And what we are going to do is repeat this pattern. So we're going to come up a block and then bring this across like so. Then we're going to skip 2, and then we're going to leave, do the next line of windows and the next one above that, and skip 2, window, window, skip 2, window, window, skip 2, window, and then the last one should be just 2 blocks from the window here. So yeah, bring all of these right the way across the build to the point where they're here, and then I'll show you how that all looks and the next step. With the windows poked out on this white section right the way across, we get something that looks like this. Now there's one bit that we also need to do again with the sea lanterns here. So for this top section, we're going to have one more line of sea lanterns. So this will leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4 in between. And we're going to have one more line of the blue terracotta coming through like that, which I forgot to put in before. But now what we're going to do with these windows is everywhere that we've got a line of these windows, we're going to make sure that we don't connect them up, but we are going to knock these through so you've got the gap that is level with the windows for each of these different sections. So for example, for this one, your windows start at this level and at this level. So you'd have the 2 sets of windows in like so, and those would go round. And yeah, basically just carry on that line of the windows all the way through the build, just filling in and, well, knocking out all the window sections like that. And what you'll have is something that looks like this. Voila! As you can see, we've now got the windows all poked out. What we are going to do is, obviously that's not the only lighting that's going to be coming through. We're going to be doing some knocking out on these 2 grey sides as well. So we're going to come into and we're going to knock everything out right the way down from that 1 block from the top right the way down to the ground. Going to come across 2 and do exactly the same right the way through to the edge here. Not going to go any further than that. And this one, again, we're going to carry on with 2, and then we're going to carry on with 2. So you should have 4 of these sets, and each one of these, those ones go like this. That one connects right the way through. This one comes down level with the sea lanterns, and these 2 both will go right the way to 1 block above the ground like this. So fill in those gaps. And we're also going to go and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side here. So this one, obviously, because it's a big empty wall, then you don't need to worry about anything being in the way, but you come down 1 block in 2 and knock out the first line, and then across 2, and across the final 2 there. So again, you'll have 4 of these, and these will be big vertical windows going right the way down the build. The sides have now been opened up, and what we're going to do now is on this back wall, we are going to randomly just choose some blocks to fill in. So this is going to be basically just a combination of windows on each side. So a single block coming across like this. Where you put this, I'm just, like I say, randomly picking different locations to place these things. Just trying not to have it too many lining up in a single place. You can copy this if you want, or you can go with however you want to set the windows up. So yeah, you end up with something like that. Now on these sides, again, we're going to add in some extra bits. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up 2 blocks and we're going to place a block. We're going to come up 2 blocks and we're going to place a block again. We're going to come up 2 more blocks and we're going to place a block. Then we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then place a block after that. Now that is going to be the same pattern that's going to be on all of these sides as well. Next thing we're going to do is knock out some doorways, or some doors and some windows in the front. So right in the middle, we're going to have a 2x2, which is going to be the main doorway. Then next to that, we're going to have a 3 high on each side by 2 wide window. So we'll just knock those out for now, and we'll come back to those in a second. What we are going to do now, though, is we're going to take some cyan stained glass, and behind each and every one of these windows, just on the inside of the build, we're going to bring these right the way up. So not actually in the gaps, but 1 block behind them, right the way up to the full height of the build here. So we're going to go right up from the floor to the ceiling, just the 1 block behind each of these like this. And we're going to do that again once we get to these sides where there is a finishing point. We will just bring it down as low as the grey concrete like that, but the same with this one here. Bring it down as low as the grey concrete, but aside from that, just fill everything in from the floor to the ceiling, and then we're going to put some end rods in the other side. Now before we put the end rods in place, we're going to actually put in place the floors. Now the floors are going to go right the way in all of the nooks and crannies inside the build, so in between these sections, for example, with the one exception of this corner at the back, so furthest away from this bit, because we're going to have some bubble elevators that are going to be the main transportation. Now what we're going to do is each of the floors is going to be just above the window on this double section, so we're going to be using some smooth stone blocks like so. And you can put these in at the time whilst you're doing it. The sea lanterns in the floor pattern are also going to be echoed in the pattern of the floor on each of these levels, and that will mean that you have sufficient lighting here so that you don't have any spawnable spaces in the build at all. So yeah, we'll have one of the floors there, and again the next one will be here, next one will be here, next one will be here, and the final one will just be here. And so that will give you the appropriate floor heights. And as I say, yeah, just fill in all of the floors like so, right the way around the build. That will also bring you through to this section here, just around here. And what we're going to do with this is also carry this right the way on through into this extra light grey section too. So yeah, fill in all of those floors. You can get up and down, put some scaffolding or fly through this section once you're done. I'll show you what that looks like with all the floors, and then we'll put these the end rods in place. Whilst you're putting the floors into the build, then when you get to sections like this, then you can quite happily replace the top level of blocks that you've got there of the light grey concrete with some of the smooth stone, just because it won't show anywhere and just tidies things up a bit. And also inside this section as well, you can take out these extra blocks and just fill in the floors and the ceiling in the same way, just to tidy things up, but making sure that you obviously leave the holes in the floor so that you can put in your sea lanterns and make sure that everything's spawn proof. The floors are now all in place with the lights in, and what we're going to do next is we are going to start adding the end rods through. So end rods being a pain to place, I'm just going to go top to tail right the way down the build like so, and then they should then, when they get to the bottom of each of these sections, just connect up to the blocks there. When you do start, then make sure that you start in the same direction from the top down, otherwise you will get a slightly squiffy pattern there at the top. When you get to these bottom windows, it doesn't matter because they're 2 high and 4 high respectively for the windows up here. So fill these in at the sides like this. So there's one done, and that'll show you what it looks like. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to, in all of the windows in this extra section, we're going to add some black stained glass like this for all of those. I'm just going to show you on that one. And then on this white walled section, we're going to use some cyan stained glass, and we're going to fill those in. Now, what we are going to do when we get to the corners is take it right the way into the corner so it connects round like this. And then you get a nice little effect on the inside as well. So fill in all of the windows, black windows in this section, cyan stained glass windows in this section, and all of the end rods in these gaps. After the end rods and windows are in, then we are going to place some more end rods, this time on this front section. So this is going to be a big LCD screen type thing, and what we're going to do is we're going to come up to and then place an end rod, come up to and then place, and so on and so forth. And these end rods are going to go all the way across, and we're just going to keep doing this right the way up, the same number, and the last one should be on that top line. And with these, because it is an even numbered build, they will, or they should at least, if I've counted out correctly, connect up to the far side. So all of these end rods placed at those intervals, so on the third block each time, go right in the front. The other thing to do at this point is we are going to have a line of the prismarine walls that are going to go up right the way up the full height of the building on the side, either side of this overhang, like this. We're also going to have them here in this corner section, right the way up the build as well, right the way to the top. And here in this section, we are also going to have them, but they're only going to start here where this grey concrete connects to the white concrete here. So these are going to then come up. So then by the time you get to the top, all 4 corners will have these prismarine walls in place, just like so. And all of these end rods will be in place as well. Now we're going to deal with the roofs, and the first thing we're going to do is come to this very small roof, and we're going to replace that with a full prismarine block just so it lines up, and then we're going to fill in just this small section only with some smooth quartz, which works quite nicely with the light grey concrete. Coming up to the top here, we are going to run some warped stairs facing out, or well, into the build right the way across, in between all of these walls that we've got in place here. So it's going to come across like so, right the way across the build through to this. Make sure when you do fill these in that you do bend the corners round. And then for this top section, we are going to use the smooth stone slabs to match the floors that we've got here, but we're going to have the slabs and they're going to be placed as bottom slabs, which will mean that this entire roof section is completely spawn proof for that. So fill in this entire section with the smooth stone slabs and the warp stairs. With the roofs on both these sections, we're going to start placing some crimson trapdoors. Now, make sure that you do place them the same way, so don't place them up and down, because you'll get just a difference in your textures. But what we're going to do is not the very top block, but all the way down here, we're going to place a line of these crimson trapdoors right the way down to the floor. So we're going to do that on this side. We're also going to do the same on this side, so again making sure that you just follow the same one. So I've placed top ones and they're going to stay the same all the way around, and bring these down to the floor, and we're going to close all of these so that they have a nice pattern on the wall like this. And all of the sections in between that we have a 1 wide gap, we're also going to place some trapdoors around the sides like this. So I'll just do it on this bit to show you, and then when you close them, you've got again a nice bit of detailing in between the different sections with the sea lanterns. And here, because it's only 1, you've got 3 gap, then you're only going to place 1 line of these through, and here at the bottom again you're going to place 2 like you did above it, like so. So yeah, this just gives you some detail. It does use quite a lot of these trapdoors, but yeah, the end result is really, really good, so definitely worth it. Next, we have even more of the crimson trapdoors. This time we're going to be placing these all the way round on top of this blue terracotta. When we get to the corner, we just turn the corner and bring it round. We're also going to be bringing this down, and this just adds a bit of depth between the sea lanterns and the actual side of the build. So again, make sure you place these in the same orientation, so placing them that way, for example, and just do that around each of these different sides, just on the edge around the build, and yeah, that will then be this section finished. Now we're going to work on the roof, and what we're going to do is we're going to come in 3 blocks from this side, and we're going to come in 2 blocks from this side, and we're going to knock out these 6 blocks and this block here and replace them with some polished andesite first and foremost. Next, we're going to take some normal andesite and we're going to build this up 3 blocks high here on this side, and on this side we're going to build it up 5 blocks high. Now we are going to replace some of these blocks, but it's easiest to get the andesite in place. This one is then going to come up 2 blocks, and that's going to be the first step. Now we've done that, we're going to add some depth, and we're going to do this by adding some walls. So first of all, we're going to replace those 2 blocks and put some walls in there. We're also going to replace the 1 block here on this side. We're going to replace this block here on this side. We're going to add a couple more walls here just to give it some height, and then we're also going to build up 3 high here, and that's then also going to come across the 1 block here on this side. We're going to have 2 further walls on there, and then we are going to start adding in some stairs, and the stairs are going to go a right way up stair here and an upside down stair here. Now this will mean that when we put a tower in, it's not going to connect to those. On top of those stairs, we're going to place another andesite block, and we're going to place 2 further walls up like this. Now on this other side, which is looking a bit flat, we're going to replace this with a wall here, And then we're also going to replace this with a wall, just to give it a little bit of a more detailed look all the way around. Next, we start with some of the antennas. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up and place 2 iron bars here on the side of this. Then we're going to do a similar thing on here, where we're going to place 1 iron bar here, and then we're going to come up 2 more on top of that. And then we are also going to do a similar thing where we come out and then we come up 1 here. Now next to this we're going to place a fence, and this is going to be a warped fence to match the roof, and we're going to place an iron bar on top of that. Here we're going to place an iron bar with a fence and then another iron bar on top. And now we're just going to start placing some end rods for some lighting on here, and yeah, just to give it that final touch. So we're going to place end rods quite liberally throughout the area here. End rods are great because they don't actually connect to anything, and make sure we place them in the right place. And then we're also going to place 1 on here and 1 here, and then we've got the finished antenna done like so. On this side we're going to put a satellite dish. So we start by coming 1 above this wall and placing just a temporary block so that we can place a stair on there. We get rid of that temporary block and then we place an end rod against that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to place a trapdoor on top of this and open that, and we're going to place a trapdoor on the bottom of this and open that as well. Next we can take some more temporary blocks, just because it's easier to give us something to place the trapdoors against, and we're going to place 1, 2, 3 trapdoors, 1, 2, 3 trapdoors on each side, and open all of those up. And that gives us then the satellite dish. We can get rid of these temporary blocks because we don't need them. The final touch for this is we're going to actually add some lights. So we are going to come out diagonally this direction, and we'll pick a block here, and we will also do the same, come out diagonally and pick a block here. We're going to place an andesite wall on each of those, and we're going to put some searchlights facing towards the antenna. And the searchlights are a pretty simple design. All we're going to do is place on 2 of the sides some of the dark oak trapdoors like this, and those then look like they're shining the light up towards, and they do in fact shine the light up towards this. Now we're going to then take some of the nether brick, and we're going to be using some red nether brick just to create some cables, and we'll do that by bringing this out and across. And we will also bring this out and across here like so, and connecting it up, and it just looks like you've got some cables running from this main bit into this tower itself. In this big empty space we're going to build some air conditioners. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of the smooth stone slabs, and 2 blocks in here we're going to place a 4, so 2x2, and then we're going to come across another 2 blocks and place another 2x2. On top of this we're going to place some blast furnaces, so we're going to place 2 blast furnaces going this way, and this is basically just to hide the front of the furnaces, and we're going to place 2 on either side facing into those. On top of these we'll need to shift click, and we're going to place some of the rails which curve around nicely looking like an intake, and we're going to connect both of these up, again shift clicking into the side using some more of the cables, and we're going to come out of this side and we're going to bring this over to the side of the build and down like this. I don't need that one. And then we're going to come across here, and in a second this is then going to connect up to the big billboard sign that we're going to have put on this side lit up. Now for this doorway section, what we're going to do is we're going to knock all of the blocks out beneath this, and we're going to place some sea lanterns right the way across. We're also going to take out these ones here, so we've got a nice ring of sea lanterns that's going to go right the way around, which will make this nice and bright. What we're also then going to do is add another line of sea lanterns going right the way around this doorway here, so we'll have something that looks like this. Now inside this doorway we're simply going to place a couple of the doors in between the transition between the sea lantern and the concrete. Here we are going to take some blue stained glass, and we're going to fill this gap in, and we're also going to come out 1 further. So we've got the blue coming out level with the sea lanterns, and so that's 2 layers of the blue in like so, and here as well. Above that we're going to take some red stained glass and run that across the top of the doorway, and then we're going to look at our andesite stairs. And what we're going to do with the andesite stairs is we're going to place an andesite stair here and here. We're going to place 1 here and here, so we've got this nice interior to this doorway. We're then going to place another stair here and here, with the final 2 stairs coming out and meeting up in the middle of the door. So you get a nice decoration around the doorway itself, like this. Now in these gaps we're going to place 2 stairs upside down at the top and 2 at the bottom on both sides. And then it's to the warp trapdoors, where we're going to place some warp trapdoors in these gaps just to line the windows, and also place some warped trapdoors in this recess like this. Actually no, this needs to come out one more with the red stained glass, and then we place the trapdoors. And there you go, we've now got the finished entranceway to the build. At this point, if you wanted to add your own design to this, I'm going to show you what design I've put on the front of this big billboard and on the hanging sign as well, but you can put whatever sign you want in basically. And what I'm going to do is we're going to come in 1 block here, and we're going to place a line of 4 of the black and 4 on top of that. So this is going to be 2 deep wherever we don't have one of these end rods, and 1 deep when we do. So we're going to have, then on top of that, we're going to have a black stained glass here. We're going to have 3 here like so. Then we're going to come up level with these end rods and place again 4, and then 2 and 2 like so. And then again filling in 2 deep we've got here, and we're going to be spelling the word data, just because it's kind of quite futuristic. And what we're going to do here is create the T by doing this, and it's on its side like this. And then we reverse the A that we had previously. So we have the 3 here, the 2 here and here. And there we've got the word. As you can see, it sticks out nicely to you when you're going through. Now we're just going to have a bit of a decorative design, which is going to be, again, another logo. So we leave 1 gap here, and we have a line of 4 of the glass, making sure that it's 2 deep where you've got no end rods. Then we're going to come up 1, and then we're going to come across like this with 4 again. We're going to come up again here, and then we're going to finish off with just a line of 4 here. So that's obviously just a logo. The last thing to do with the coloured glass is we're going to start with some red down here, level with the bottom here. And again, we're just going to run a line of red, however high you basically want to take it. I'll probably take it to about here. And then we're going to transition then to the orange. So this is going to be sort of a grade going through. And we'll bring that up to about here. And then we'll finish off with taking the yellow right the way up to the top of the build, like this. And we're going to be stopping just before these end rods. Now inside this, in the gap, we're going to be doing a similar thing, but with the blues. So we bring the blue out and try not to have these finishing at the same point. So for this one, we'll keep the blue going a fair bit higher. And then we'll transition to the light blue just before that. Bring this up. And what we're then going to do is go into the cyan here. And cyan's going to come out, and then it's also going to start coming across. But what we'll then do is we'll then fade through the light blue glass and then finish off with the blue, like so. Now all of the other gaps around this, so that gives us our logo on the front. All of the other gaps, we're going to fill the entirety with white stained glass. So anywhere that we've got any gaps, we'll just fill it in with the white stained glass, and I'll show you what that all looks like once that's done. Now the very, very final thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the giant overhanging sign. So you can choose how far down you want this, but bear in mind we're going to replicate the word data but in the glass panes on the side here. So I'm just going to come down a couple of blocks so it's not too far, and then we're going to come 3, 4, 5, 15 in total. This is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So as you can see, it's quite a big sign. Now what we're then going to do is, like I say, we're going to start by replicating what we've got here for the wording. So this is a bit fiddly because it is glass panes. So we're going to have a gap of 1, and then we're going to have 2, so you can obviously just reference what you've done there. Then we've got another 2 gaps, and then we're going to have one more, then a gap, and then one more for the A, then another gap, and then the middle of the T, and another gap, and then see, as I said, difficult to place, one more, and then another gap, and then one more, and that should bring us up to the top. So that's given us the start of the word, and basically, yeah, you just carry on and replicate on its side again, but using the glass panes, all of the words. So I will show you that once it's done. I'm not going to show you each and every block of that. As you can see, I've done that, and when you fill it in, it obviously gives this nice border around the edge. Now, if you wanted, you could leave it like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to light it up, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take some end rods and bring these out right the way level with the end of this, and on the end we're then going to have a stair, and you need to be a bit careful when you're placing this. And then again, we're going to place the end rods all the way down this to the bottom, so we're literally surrounding it in end rods with just the stairs again to connect those up. And then what we're going to do, again, place the stair here and finish this off, is the very final touches are going to be on each of these. And again, this is equally fiddly because you've got small hitboxes. We're going to place some warped trapdoors all the way along, including over this wall, and we're going to make sure those are all closed. We're going to do the same on the bottom here, right the way through the build like this, and you guessed it, same on the other side. Basically, we're going to surround, trying to keep it so they're the same side, this entire thing with the warped trapdoors. So do that on this piece and do that on this piece. The very final touch then will be, we will replace this with a wall so that we can bring this out and bring it across and link it up like so, and that looks like you've got a big cable that's powering the whole sign. So finish that off, and then I will show you the completed build. The very last detail to add to this build is to add some warped buttons in each of these spaces, and also, as you can see through the window here, to add some bubble columns. So I've got the red side with the warped gates, or the crimson gates rather, and then the warped gates, that's the up, and then the down sides to that as well. So those are very last touches to do. So here is a quick look at the build with the default textures on. As you can see, it looks really good. So in fact, that bit at the front, it looks even better than with the texture pack on. And when you come around, you can see that it all works. Now, the texture pack that I use is Vanilla BD Craft, which is just an HD version of the vanilla textures. So all the builds that I build do always work in vanilla. But yeah, this is what the build looks like with the default textures on. Looking at the build now with the Seuss Renewed shaders on, because they give a really nice colour to the glass. I think it looks really good. I'm happy with how this has turned out. So if you've enjoyed this build and you like the finished result, please do hit that like button and let me know in the comments. It really does help the channel. I'll give you a very quick check on the inside here just to show you where the bubble column is. As you can see, it's over in the corner, and you've got the up and the down side here, and that means that you can access all of the floors in the build. And yeah, you've got all of these windows so you can see out as well. So all in all, everything that you could need in a base is also in there. So let me now just fly up, and I will quickly show you what this looks like with the nighttime on, because that's when the build really does come to life. And here we have the nighttime view. So as you can see, it makes the front side of this with the lighting behind look great. As I say, this is Seuss Renewed shaders because they give a really nice tint to the glass there and colour the light slightly. As we come around, we can see from all sides that it does look good. So if you do enjoy this, do leave a comment, leave a like. It really helps the channel. Above all, make sure that you do subscribe for future videos. If you haven't as well, check out the other videos in this series. So we've got this here, the first Cyberpunk build that I did. Then we did this Cyberpunk tower as well. with the big scrolling sign at the side there. And if you are enjoying these, let me know in the comments and I will endeavour to do some more. Also, if you'd like me to do some build ideas, as in decoration ideas, I've got some things planned for that, so yeah, let me know in the comments for those as well. And all that's left to be said is thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on ADcraft.